Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really powerful concept, the power of thinking big, rewriting your story. This isn't just theory, it's a completely mind-blowing narrative about taking deep, almost inescapable poverty and transforming it into massive success. And the secret ingredient? Relentless, absolutely unrelenting discipline. Let's get started.
Okay, let's dive into this. Can a boy with literally empty pockets, and I mean completely empty, actually change his entire family's destiny? In our source material today, we meet Kabir. He lived in a tiny, remote village, and the odds weren't just against him, they were practically crushing him. When we say empty pockets, we mean it. Literally nothing. But as you'll see, true wealth, it doesn't always start in your wallet.
It's like looking at two completely different worlds. On one hand, you have Kabir's harsh physical reality. We're talking torn school bags, shoes with holes straight through the soles, and going to bed hungry, like actually hungry, most nights. That was his what is. But inside? Wow. Internally, he harbored this massive, burning dream to completely change his family's trajectory, his what could be. And that massive gap between his brutal circumstances and his wild ambition? That is exactly where true mental wealth is built.
Now, you know how it goes. Society rarely likes it when you step out of your assigned box. When Kabir shared these huge ambitions, the reaction was just brutal. People literally laughed in his face, saying, "How can a boy with empty pockets think about big things? You should only think about earning bread for the next day." Think about that for a second. Have you ever had someone just completely laugh off your biggest goals? It hurts, right? It deeply hurt Kabir too. But, and here's the kicker, he absolutely refused to let their tiny thinking limit his giant future.
Every great story has that one massive turning point, right? For Kabir, it happened on a quiet evening down by a river. He was feeling incredibly down, just completely weighed down by the cynicism of his entire village. And then, he's approached by an older, really wise teacher named Guruji. Guruji takes one look at him, sees the pain, and just asks what's wrong. Kabir lets it all out. He explains how everyone keeps telling him his dreams are way too big for a boy who has nothing. And this quiet, really intimate moment by the water, this is where the whole universe shifts for him.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how Guruji responds. He doesn't offer him money or, empty feel-good quotes. He uses this profound metaphor. He hands Kabir a mirror and asks, "What do you see?" At first, Kabir just sees his own misery, but Guruji tells him to look deeper. He says, "Look at the fire hidden right behind that pain." He says, "This fire is your belief. Most people ignore it and give up." He explains that if you can just protect that fire and feed it with courage, it will literally light your way through the darkest nights. It's just a brilliant way of reframing pure suffering into absolute fuel.
And this brilliantly illustrates how Guruji's deep philosophy translates into a real, concrete three-step framework that any of us can use right now. Step 1, see your true self. Don't obsess over your current circumstances, focus on your raw potential. Step 2, protect the hidden fire. Do not let those cynical, mocking voices blow out your belief. And step 3, clean the dust with actions. You see, Guruji warned Kabir that people are always going to try to throw the dust of doubt onto his mirror to make him think he isn't enough. Your job isn't to argue with them. Your job is to wipe that dust away every single day through relentless action.
But let's be real, Kabir wasn't chasing success for a fancy car or to boost his ego. This was about literal survival. The stakes could not have been higher. He had a severely sick mother who constantly needed medicine they just couldn't afford. And his dad, an old, completely exhausted farmer, breaking his back under the punishing sun, often coming home with absolutely nothing. This was the urgent emotional fuel driving Kabir. He was fighting to literally save the people he loved most. When your why is that powerful, giving up? Yeah, that just ceases to be an option.
So how exactly did he go about cleaning the dust off his mirror? The sheer volume of this kid's daily hustle is honestly staggering. Okay, picture this. 8 a.m., he's at school. By 5 p.m., he's scrubbing glasses and serving customers at a local tea shop. Weekends? Forget about resting. He's working as an apprentice with a local mechanic, soaking up highly technical skills. And then, at 11 p.m., when the entire village is totally knocked out, Kabir is sitting under this dim, flickering light bulb, studying with absolute laser focus. He is literally squeezing every single drop of potential out of a 24-hour day.
Wiping the dust off your mirror isn't pretty. It demands severe, often painful sacrifice. He sacrificed sleep. He sacrificed any semblance of comfort. And sometimes he literally sacrificed food. This wasn't some casual, weekend hobby for him. But he never stopped. He never wavered for a second, because his vision, that mirror showing his family's eventual freedom, was glued to the front of his mind. He made the deliberate choice to trade short-term comfort for a long-term destiny.
Let's move to and see how this builds, all of this immense effort. It all started with the number one, just one single tiny step. After years of this totally grueling routine, hoarding every single rupee like it was gold, Kabir opened one small mobile repair business in a quiet, dusty corner of his village. We're not talking about some massive tech startup with $1 million in funding. It wasn't glamorous at all. It was just one tiny shop built entirely on the back of thousands of sleepless nights.
But from that one little foundation, the compounding effect of his discipline just exploded. He took the meager earnings from that repair business and reinvested them to open a tiny electronics shop. By combining the people skills from the tea shop, the tech skills from the mechanic, and the book smarts from his late-night studying, he rapidly expanded to 3 shops. 3! And eventually, he actually launched his very own brand of mobile accessories. It's the ultimate textbook example of strong will and smart planning just compounding over time.
And you know what's so incredibly ironic about his eventual success? The exact same neighbors, the ones who relentlessly mocked him, the ones who told him to stay in his lane and only think about his next piece of bread, yeah, they eventually found themselves literally lining up outside his office, waiting for a chance to get a job from him. Talk about a full circle moment. It is a brilliant, undeniable reminder. Absolutely never let the limited imagination of other people dictate the size of your own life.
But listen, the shops, the branded accessories, those were just the vehicle. The real destination was a completely changed destiny for his family. Kabir's mother now gets regular, reliable medical treatment. His father, whose hands were literally blistered from years in the dirt, no longer has to break his back working in the fields. The ultimate reward of his extraordinary journey wasn't some fancy CEO title, it was securing the health, peace, and dignity of his family. That's the real win.
Years later, Guruji finally returns to visit. He looks around at everything Kabir has built, and he distills the entire journey into this one profound truth. So the crucial point is this: you are proof that dreams are not measured by the money in your pocket, but by the vision in your heart. The world is always going to try to make you think small based on what's currently in your bank account, but true visionaries, they rewrite the story entirely by looking at their hidden potential.
Which brings us directly to you. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to ask yourself, what dust is covering your mirror right now? Who are the people telling you to think smaller? And most importantly, what deliberate actions are you going to take today to wipe that dust off? Don't just sit on that spark of hope. Grab that courage, dare to think absolutely massive, and start rewriting your very next chapter right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.